Alrighty, good morning everybody. It's Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened here. Yesterday was a bit of a choppy situation, as it has been for the last day or two. But let's take a look. Market opened right inside of the chop from the day before. I'll just zoom this out so you can see here. Chopped all in here, and then yesterday continued to chop all inside of there. Basically, the range of the trading session from Thursday of last week, right? So Thursday, Friday, and now here we are, or Monday, all trading inside of that about 57.40 to 57.90. And so here we are, market opened. You can see this level, I mean, guys, for the last day or two, that first new eye level that we added to the chart has been a very, very relevant level. We've seen a lot of rotations right off of it, and was basically the case yesterday as well. However, they did go ahead and duck through pretty, a little bit deeper than I would like, down to, about 3 points through it there. Did hold, right? So we held and held. The reason, again, and I'll bring this up every time we start to hold things like this, the reason this level is here is because this is the top end of a major chop block on higher time frames, right? So not too surprising that as price came back into it, they found support there. Again, some were nearly to the tick, and then we got the push out to pull back off of the previous daily high and then hold VWAP. Like I said, super choppy market yesterday. I'm not saying that, hey, if you just bought the VWAP, you made money, because if you would have bought VWAP all morning, you probably would have gotten stopped out, right? So it was choppy, but held the first eye level, came up, and tried to breach through the all-time high that was printed in the market, all the way back in July of this year. So the old all-time high became the upper resistance in yesterday's market. So I did have one of our members mention that they did go ahead and fade this level and capture some profit to the downside. And I think when it first peaked through, he got a little scalp right off of it there. I don't trade for such small amounts, but was able to scalp it off the top and then fade the back end for the pullback. So there were opportunity off some of the levels. They did basically ride up and stay above VWAP for a little bit of time, but like I said, it was a choppy market yesterday. No other way to twist it, right? It just was choppy and messy. Did respect the general areas in the chart, but overall, in terms of moving averages, just kind of chopped around. Did pull back and basically held that major structure zone again to come up, and then finally failed off the all-time high once again, or the all-time high that was printed back in July, and even got that beautiful peak above and fail with divergence. So after first test, second, and there were multiple tests inside of there, after this you get that peak through, it starts to fail through. That should have been somewhat clear as to what was going on. It was just going to be probably a range day. Fading the top end and buying the bottom end probably would have made sense. And as you can see, it started fading, and then you did get one of those textbook setups there where it came back and kissed the back end of the 200 and then got back down and held the back end of VWAP again. Now again, I'm not claiming that this was a nice easy day. It was pretty choppy in here, and then at the end of the day they came down and bounced, or I should say going into the lunch session, they did go ahead and bounce just in front of the holy orange power level there to basically just push right back up into the morning range, right? So total chop fest. Did respect the major high of the day being the all-time high from July. And then, as you can see at the end of the day, tried to then start in a little micro bull run, holding the top end of the 200 and the VWAP on the way. But again, not making any excuses here. It was a totally choppy day. People still made money. And now as we come into the open here this morning, you can see in the overnight session, they pulled back right to 50% of yesterday's price action, found that support with that little micro double bottom bullish divergence, and that led this push to try to push up to test the new all-time high, which we printed in the market, I believe somewhere up here about 57.97.5, I want to say. And so it just fell just in front of the new all-time high on the S&P futures, and now is trading up at the top end of that chop range, right? So we're right back up to the highs of yesterday here, and it looks like the bulls are attempting to come up and test the all-time high, right? So that's basically it for the review today. Let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames and see what they have to say for this morning.